Welcome to the Fellowship of the Films podcast, a podcast where we discuss movies, television, and other pop culture related topics. My name is Duncan, and with me I have...
Ryan. Hey, yo.
Yeah, and today we're discussing a few things, most prominently the new Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Black Widow.
Ooh.
Before we get into that, how are you today, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good myself. Yeah, so we just saw this movie
A couple days ago.
last Thursday, which for us was July 8th. Because we're keeners, we need to go opening night.
Hey, you don't want to get them spoilers wrecked for you. So you might as
No,
well.
absolutely. So, this movie was actually set for release on July 9th after being pushed many times.
Many times.
It stars the regular people pretty much. Well, the regular person. There's no other people from
The
anything
regular
else.
people, yes, obviously.
But Scarlett Johansson is Black Widow.
Yep.
Florence I'm not going to attempt that. Something. As Yelena.
Yep.
David Harbour as Alexei. And Rachel Weisz as Melina.
Yes.
So, we're going to do some spoiler-free thoughts before we go really in-depth here. Because we both have a lot of thoughts on this
We
movie.
have some interesting thoughts and other stuff to talk about this movie. So, we're just going to go spoiler-free to start. I'll let you start, Duncan.
Okay. So for me, I like to keep it very vague before we go into spoilers because I don't like to sway people one way or another, seeing or not seeing the movie. I enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I have more issues with it than I have with most Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Most Marvel movies, it was good. There's pretty much nothing to criticize, a few little things. But this, I have some more prominent issues that takes it down from a love it or think it's great to it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much all I have to say. What about you?
I'm thinking a little bit differently. I'm thinking pretty good on the same lines. I liked it. I definitely think people should go see it in theaters. It is a good overall. It's a pretty good movie still. It's just I don't know. It just for me it just kind of marks other stuff that I'll get to into more part. But it has a lot. It has slightly more flaws than your standard Marvel movie does.
I would agree. And we would say if it was a bad movie, if we were
we'd be like, this is dog shit, get out of the theaters, run as far as fast as you can, get away.
We would say if we thought you shouldn't go see this, but we still think we should go see it.
You should go see it.
It's not got enough flaws that it's still going to be an enjoyable time. It's
a
decent installment into the MCU. It answers what happened during a certain time period.
It did its job.
It did its job.
Yes.
It's just we have some more things we'll discuss about it.
Exactly. Some critiques.
Do you have anything else to finish that off with?
No, overall, I have to say, there wasn't. It's very interesting the specific spot they chose to put this movie in.
Yeah.
But that's all I gotta say. But now I think we should get into spoilers if you're great with that now, because I don't really have much else to say without getting into anything.
Definitely. So we're going spoiler warning. If you don't care, okay. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. If you don't care about spoilers, I guess just listen and have everything spoiled for you.
It's up to you. Yeah, we're going to be hitting the spoilers. Just letting you know.
Yeah. So, let's start with the good. What did you like about this movie?
Well, it's okay. One thing is I do like something specifically about Phase 4 is they really there was some characters, and I mean sure they were in a lot of the Avengers movies such as Black Widow and Hawkeye, and I do like that they're actually finally getting their own solo movies, even if it is a little bit late. Yeah. That is actually something that's nice, at least, because these are kind of the original 6. They made a whole big deal about it in the Avengers, and it's nice that they're finally completing out that trip, all of the characters getting their own movie.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that.
But overall, so the good about the movie in specifically, though, I would have to say, the action actually is pretty good, I have to say, overall.
Yeah, definitely. The action was one of the standouts of this movie, because there was other issues that we'll discuss later, which made... Often I don't look at the action, because the action in most Marvel movies is just really good in general, so I don't really pay attention to the action anymore. But this movie had enough flaws that I actually noticed the action, because I had to look for what was good. which sounds really harsh on it, but you know what? I don't. Yeah, that's my take on it.
That's your take. All right, cool.
touching on the spot where you said about when it was the independent Marvel movies that just kind of explain a character's origin.
Mm-hmm.
I have some issues with this movie when it comes to that.
Yeah, because this is not really her origins.
This isn't really her. We'll get into this more when we get into what we didn't like, but specifically, I'm just going to mention that this wasn't really her origin. It wasn't really. When I hear a Black Widow movie, just like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man, I want her from the start.
I guess 4 wasn't really a 4 movie. It wasn't really an origin story, too.
It was his origin to Earth.
Yeah, that was basically it.
But this, I just felt like this wasn't even her movie. There was too many other people. I'm like, this should have been Black Widow. Like,
yeah, it was
set like her story, her childhood, her being raised in the Red Room, her just all the way from the start there. I didn't think we should skip all that and just make this own story. No,
like, I see why you say that. Like, to me personally, at least, I don't know if that would be the best, but like, the way they went with the movie overall. I have to say it was interesting, I guess, because it's nice to have a little bit more, like, because they have a lot. They're saying they've been doing really great, actually, was doing the consequences of, like, the snap, right, in Infinity War and other movies.
Yeah,
and they've done a really good job about, you know, showing those consequences and stuff like WandaVision and Endgame and Far From Home, right? They've shown a good job of that. And the one thing that I do like this movie does is it kind of shows what actually, like, happened after Civil War, which is nice to know, because that's a big event when your big team that's defending the world kind of just decides to not be a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they answered that in between there, but I would have
preferred a different movie to
like that in a different movie. Even Black Widow 2. Even within that Black Widow 2, where they jump to the present and be like, now she's in this situation. I really wanted a Black Widow 1, though.
It doesn't feel like Black Widow 1.
It doesn't. And it also, I wanted more of a story arc for her. When I look back on... Okay, so we've kind of... Okay. So we've kind of gone out of the good, the bad, and maybe we'll just... Do you want to continue with that format or just start talking about it? We'll just keep talking. Okay. So, this doesn't feel like a big story arc for her. It feels like there's other characters that make these progressions and change and everything, but when it comes to Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff as a character, I don't see much of I don't know, by the end of the movie, I wasn't being like, oh, I see what they did with her there. I understand her a lot better now. Not really for me.
No, I guess all the understanding I got from this movie came from seeing... Well, I mean, it's good. There is some good writing in that stuff. There's a lot of... They do show some stuff more than just telling everybody things, right? Which I do think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it's just... I don't know. It just has this really weird energy, I guess. Because it has a lot of... And then maybe I was really tired when I went to go see this movie.
Yeah.
So that might have been part of it. But, like, I know some of the action was even draining at times because there was a lot of action.
I never had that issue for me. But by the end, I must say, I really enjoyed the action till kind of the finale. Mm-hmm. The finale of the movie, the final act, I was not taken with because by that point I was just kind of displeased by the movie. Not displeased by it, but I wasn't terribly liking of it. And I didn't know how to react to what they'd done and the decisions they made. So when they finally got to that, when they finally got to that end finale, I was more thinking about what I thought of this movie than actually paying attention to the finale.
Yeah, they kind of... Well, the ending wasn't really anything special. And
No.
that's the problem. They're kind of... I mean, that's also part of it, because it's coming after, you know, Infinity War and Endgame. We've had these just giant finale, you know, big action kind of thing, right? And so we kind of just get more like a more basic, you know, villain, good guy, tussle, you know? But the one thing I really did not like really about the movie is how they portrayed the Taskmaster.
Yeah, that's a criticism. Marvel fans are divided about this on social media, I know, and I do not like that decision. So, yeah, so you didn't like that either, I take it.
No, it wasn't. I get what they were going for, right?
Okay, so to inform, in case you haven't seen the movie, if you forget what we're talking about here, the Taskmaster
is the main villain's daughter.
Turns out, spoilers, to be the main villain's daughter after the accident she got in that Black Widow caused.
Yes.
He, like, did the crazy scientist stuff and made her like this fighting machine thing that reads, that can like read,
can mimic
any other.
That's the Taskmaster's abilities.
Yeah, that's the Taskmaster, and apply the Taskmaster's abilities to her. This, oh my goodness, this was supposed to be its own character. It's a huge character in the Marvel comics, the cartoons, just in Marvel culture in general. This character is loved by many and a really cool character, right?
Oh yeah, being able to mimic most of like the super's powers is pretty cool overall, I have to say.
And they took it and put it in this movie and just were like,
we need a villain.
He does it a little bit. He's essentially the main villain's I keep saying he because it's in the comics and the show and everything else, it's he. Anyways, she is essentially the main villain's muscle.
Yeah. Because the main villain, if you guys, it's just the main. Well, technically, the main villain is big old dude.
Yeah, the
power.
The controller guy of the Red Room.
Let's just put. Yeah, there's a lot of not very memorable characters in this movie.
Yeah, he's not really. Yeah, he's not memorable. So, anyways, they took Taskmaster and just made it his daughter re-engineer, when he's supposed to be this cool villain that can do all this stuff, and he ends up going against all of these, like a consistent character.
And I mean, it still could be, because the character technically doesn't die at the end of the movie.
Technically, but she is released from the control of the Red Room, if you recall.
Yeah.
So, I'm really disappointed by that, because even if they want to change her to a female character as it is, I have no issue with that.
Go ahead, just at least don't.
You can bend the genders as much as you want.
You can take properties. You can do whatever you want with it. I just wasn't a huge fan of what they did with it.
I wanted him to also be more focused on, like, okay, we're going up against Taskmaster. This is what he can do. Let's see his potential. But it was not really expanded on. I think it was said in like one sentence. Oh, this is what he can do.
Yeah.
He can. She can't. She. Ugh.
Yeah, I know it is really hard to get your head around, because especially like, and I mean it doesn't, not to say it this way, but like, it's really hard to remember as a girl or like a female.
Yeah, because it also doesn't. They also decide to lead us on and be like, this is the character you love from Marvel, and it is him, but we made it look like him just so you didn't know as a girl. I'm like, so you even made us thought it was the character we really liked. And then less aware of that. Now, this could be moved to someone else. Like, could we potentially see in the future?
Think they don't. One thing they do is they have one portrayal as something and they stick with it. Like, that's kind of what they do.
Well, they brought back Zemo.
Yeah, but I mean, same.
I guess
he was pretty close to the same. They just brought the character back. They didn't reintroduce the same character.
Well, they made him put his mask on, so the comic fans were a little bit more.
And then he took it off.
He took it off.
Because here's the problem, right? When the other guys are really strong and or have flight, that's a whole Falcon and Winter Soldier thing. This is that's the whole other thing.
Yeah.
But,
so Marvel tends to waste these villains. I really don't like that, because Marvel has a very small amount of villains that are really cool, and so when you bring them into live action, you need to make them cool. Don't waste them. And I just really felt that Taskmaster was wasted.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, I do feel like there was a lot of potential there that was not used.
Definitely, yeah. So, that's one of my biggest downfalls from the movie.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. It's just, I don't know, overall, it's weird, because when you're thinking about it, when I'm thinking about the movie, right? The first action scene, I was really excited. I was excited about that.
Oh yeah,
that was actually that was some pretty good overall. Like, show Taskmaster's ability, show what he can do.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Kind of gave you Winter Soldier vibes, almost like when the Winter Soldier first showed up, and he was kind of mysterious,
hyper-focused bad guy created.
Can't see his face very well. Yeah, absolutely. And then they just.
Yeah, it went down. It went downhill.
Went downhill from there. The movie kind of goes downhill in a way, because not that the whole movie's kind of the same, but I think the reason lots of us, like even the other people we saw it with, thought it went downhill was because by the end of the movie you realize, oh, this is what this is, and this is where they went with it, and we just kind of are accepting that by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Kate, and I that's pretty much how I see it too.
Yeah. So. The other thing I guess since we're going on bad things right now, I will continue to. Do you have anything else you want to talk about right now?
Well, specifically about no, that was kind of my main kind of thing I was going to talk about.
The things I have, let me finish off my complaints about things I did not like so much. The story felt really, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Felt very weak. Okay, the story, this does not feel, this feels like, what's the right word? This movie feels like the second half of a two-parter, right?
Yeah, two-parter or even a trilogy. But the point is that they give you these scenes with this family.
Yes.
But you don't really know the family very well. Mm-hmm. And so then they want you to be like emotionally invested in this, but they're like, we haven't given you any time to adjust and like them and like be invested in these characters.
I guess, yeah, a little bit more time at the beginning, personally. I could have seen that.
More time at the beginning. I also felt like maybe I'm just dense, but I felt the story a little bit difficult to follow along with. I was very confused I was like, who knows that family was all a fake and who doesn't? Because I originally thought both the kids didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, that was the one thing.
It was really blurry for me because then Natasha at the start, if you recall, when they're leaving, Natasha's like angry. I'm like, I don't know why. It never really occurred to me at any point that she knew that they were undercover. I didn't even know they were undercover till way too late. Like, maybe I'm just dense, but I was having troubles following along with that storyline.
Okay, so in contrast, I feel like I feel like I understood a good amount, right? Because I remember, if you look at her backstory and stuff, she was from like Russia and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the first kind of scenes still take place in like the 80s and stuff.
Well, 90s, yeah.
90s, yeah. Okay, well, this is 80, 90, same difference, same decade.
Well, it would make Natasha a lot older, so I'm just saying.
Okay, well, you need to get your number in there. I'll get that in. But either way, it's back still in, like, there's like when Russian suspicions at its high, you know? And they're, so, I can, like, the whole spy thing, I can see it. It makes sense, right? And they do explain it a little bit better later on in the movie, right? But overall, it's just kind of, I don't know. I actually kind of like the first couple openings. I like it. I actually like how the movie starts. I will say I like that.
Yes. So that's mostly all the things I didn't like. I want to mention something that I really liked while we're talking about the opening part of the movie.
The opening part, yeah.
The opening credit scene.
Oh, okay, that was good. I like
is one of the best opening credit scene I've seen in a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I read online somewhere that that's the first opening credit scene they've done, again, since The Incredible Hulk. But then I was like, that's wrong, because technically, didn't the Guardians of the Galaxy have opening credit scenes? Because they had Groot dancing, which is technically an opening credit scene.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy 1, because he was walking through, like, jamming to a song. Do you remember that? Like, he was in the temple or whatever, and he's walking through singing, and they have credits going. So I was
I just had you confused because Peter Quill, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Quill, yeah. So I don't know why someone posted that because technically maybe
either way, the opening credit scene was very well done. I will have to say,
very well done.
Good music choice, just overall, just good.
Yeah, and it hadn't been done in a while, as I was saying. So it was nice. It was the music. It took me a second. I'm like, what is this? And then once you realize, it's a very satisfying feeling when you realize, this is that song.
It's just a really slow version, and it's just
yeah. I love that moment when you realize, hold on, I recognize this. But that was just a great scene. The song did it perfectly. The way they put the montage together of the creepy footage of the Red Room, communicated all that.
Okay, I was pretty sure it smells like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Yeah, I was completely sure that was, but
yeah, I was sure about that too. I was just saying, like, you know,
yeah.
I really like that really slow version though, because it really did make the entire thing it wasn't creepy, but you know what I mean.
It's blown up. The song has blown up since then. Mm-hmm. It's like all over TikTok a lot, and not sound
Zoomer
TikTok, but
over here.
And it's been a big deal ever since. And the only thing, like, I liked it, but again, I would have liked more expanded.
No, I actually didn't. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I actually liked the opening. Okay, if this was supposed to be an origin story, right? Which it obviously isn't, right?
Yeah.
I would have agreed with you with more time. But see, this wasn't an origin story. So like that little bit at the beginning I actually thought was pretty good. Just because it showed a little bit more into like that she had a family, because the whole movie basing this whole thing off her family kind of thing, right?
Right.
So I really like that they actually showed the family before and not just jumped into how it is now.
Right.
And because they were like, in a way, in a way they've always kind of been a family. You know what I mean? Because even though like it was still a mission, right? They kind of, even if none of them realized it, they still kind of were a family.
Yeah. I guess it's not that I don't like the opening credits scene. It's just I wish that was what the movie was. I wish the movie was an origin movie. So that's why when I see the credits scene, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is really cool, but couldn't you just make this a movie? That's my only thing.
Yeah.
What was the other thing I was going to mention? Something else I liked about it a lot. We mentioned the action was really good.
Action was good, yeah.
The whole thing crashing, the whole big thing crashing. Okay, I felt like that was a little bit.
How did nobody like die off that?
Well, my question, the thing that I really didn't like was I was like, how many things have we seen crash in Marvel? We've seen the helicarriers crash. We've seen. It's like
this thing's like a big helicarrier. Basically.
Remember like the trope of everybody saying that every superhero movie had a energy beam going into the sky.
Yeah.
Because tons of superhero movies had that.
Yes.
I feel like another one now is things crashing.
Big things crashing out of the sky. Because that mean, to be fair, that was Winter Soldier. The free helicarriers.
I feel like something else crashed though too.
That's Age of Ultron.
Well, Age of Ultron, they dropped
the big city came out of the sky.
The city came out of the sky, which caused Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I just feel like I'm like,
a
lot of things crash.
Okay, how did this not be a bigger deal? This giant thing coming out of the sky.
Well, it was. There was a bunch of people who showed up at the end. Yeah,
but I mean, how is it not like over? Like, see, that's the kind of the annoying part, right? Because this is a big. How did nobody notice this giant thing in the sky? There's just never.
And I guess by the end of the movie, when that's up there,
they're over U.S. soil. How did the U.S. just not figure that out?
Is it over U.S. soil?
Yeah, they're in U.S. Remember? Because that's all the characters are from the U.S. They showed up.
Okay, because I thought it was over. It wasn't somewhere else then. It was the U.S. Okay.
I thought it was. I could be completely wrong about this, but all the agents that show up at the end, right?
I thought they were just over there, but let me look this up. We need to check this.
Yeah.
One moment, please, everybody.
Well, either way, it's not showing that clearly.
Where is? Hold on. Where is the finale of Black Widow set?
They're probably just going to tell you where it's actually shot for shot.
Yeah, they're not answering me on the internet. Okay. Well,
either way, it does not show in.
I would think that no matter where it is on the planet, somebody should have scanned this. This is modern day by this point in the movie. Somebody would have seen that, but okay. There's certain things we excuse because it's entertainment. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a big issue with that. But
it could have been over Russia, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think it's U.S.
That didn't look like but it looked pretty nice for Russia.
Well, is Russia not nice?
It's snowy. It's in the north.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I don't know geography.
Well, I mean, there is some nice parts of Russia. It's like Russia's like Canada, except for it's more north.
Okay. Well, either way, we still have valid arguments there. How did nobody see that?
Yeah.
Do you have any other notes on this movie? I'm just kind of my train of thought is slowly ending. So the things I wanted to discuss the most are over with.
Oh yeah, no, I just mainly wanted to talk about stuff. Overall, I do have to say the movie is good, and I think it's worth seeing because this would be the way I'd recommend watching this movie though is watching Civil War and then watching this like after.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of transition details, but it will just make this a smoother. You'll be like,
it'll make more sense rather than getting like whiplash trying to go back from like Endgame.
Yeah, trying to remember. Oh yeah, okay. So there was Civil War. Where was Black Widow after that? What did she do to be on the run? It's like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a nice refresher.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And also it's a good movie. So.
I watched Civil War before this by coincidence, so I was so lucky.
Actual genius over here, seen it coming.
Those Doctor Strange powers. There was only one instance in which I could properly enjoy this movie, and that was if I watched Civil War first. I just saw it ahead, like in Infinity War. Remember in Infinity War where he's like, "There's only one where we win."
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, "There's only one where I can enjoy this movie."
See Civil War beforehand.
See Civil War beforehand. That was it. Anyways, I'm thinking if I have anything else to mention about this movie.
Closing thoughts then, I guess.
I'm thinking. Oh, last thing is, I think I will like this the second time around a little better.
Yeah, I think just the main thing is just the whole movie itself. We're just all getting back into watching like movies and like seeing like Marvel movies just in general coming back in theaters. So I think we're all exciting. This thing got pushed back too much. That's the main thing, right?
It became too anticipated.
People got way too hyped for it because we've waited so long for it, and it's just then it was like, if anything, it was like pretty like par for the course, right? And then we see it as a little bit worse now because it wasn't this big epic 10-year long massive adventure that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, so I think that now that my expectations are put in their place, I think watching the second time, I know what's coming. I know it's not going to be this kind of movie. It's going to be that kind of movie. Mm-hmm. I kind of understand where they're going with this, and I think I'll like it a little bit more.
Yeah, the marketing was a little weird, I will have to say.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to appreciate a little bit more at the same time.
I'm going to stop, what I've realized now is what I'm going to stop doing is I'm going to stop watching trailers. Because the trailers get you, what's the right word? Movies have figured out the science to make you absolutely just hyped out of your mind for something, right?
Yeah.
And then they just put that in there so they can put it in the trailer to make you come watch the movie. So I'm thinking, honestly, I'm going to stop watching trailers now. Just because then I won't be like I won't be overly excited. I'll just keep my expectations more tempered, and then I'll be able to properly enjoy the movie more.
To be honest with you, I think it's more that we were watching trailers for way too long for this.
I've seen that trailer 200 times.
I personally think it's still fine to watch trailers. It's just this one we've been seeing trailers for over a year, trailer after trailer after trailer, because they kept pushing it, and we just became too adjusted to what we thought.
Yeah, no, I'm still just gonna keep doing that, just because I'm just thinking it might make the experience more enjoyable. I'm gonna try that for Shang-Chi at least. Oh, shit, I've seen the trailer.
I was about to say, you've seen that trailer already, so I'm not sure what kind of time-turning thing you're doing there.
I'm just going to get the Harry Potter, yeah. We're going to go reverse time, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought this movie was okay. It was good. It wasn't great. I didn't love it, but it was good.
I didn't hate it,
It was good. I'd watch it again. Mm-hmm. Lots of these ones I say, I wouldn't watch again, like last couple we've reviewed, but this one I say, I would watch again.
I'd like to go rewatch in a little bit.
Yeah, I would rewatch again. Not a bad installment, just not a great installment.
Makes sense, yeah.
And that's my ending thoughts. What about you?
No, overall, that's kind of how I see it too. I thought it was pretty good, and yeah, I thought it was good.
Perfect. So I'll give it out of 10. I'll give it a. I don't want to give it too high. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7.
Okay. I'll give it a good.
A good? Good out of 10? Okay.
Good out of 10, yeah. It was good. 10. I mean, there's a lot better movies. It doesn't get a pretty good. It doesn't get a very good, and it doesn't get a great, but it's good.
It's fairly low on my MCU ranking.
Yeah, this one's...
When I think about this, like this sits with Ant-Man for me.
I think Ant-Man's better. I actually really like Ant-Man.
You like Ant-Man better?
Ant-Man's really good.
I'm not saying Ant-Man's bad. There's just a lot that goes above Ant-Man, so...
Honestly, I think Ant-Man is pretty good, Mason. Maybe just because I have nostalgia for it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just that most of the Avengers movies sit above it. Captain America's sit above it. So I'm just saying this is below all of those.
Oh, yeah.
And the Spider-Mans and stuff like that. So it's below a lot of things for me. But I still really enjoyed it.
It's a solid movie.
So that's our closing thoughts. Definitely go see this movie in theaters.
Go check it out, I will say. Like, just, the theaters will thank you,
Yeah, because especially with pandemic stuff and movies releasing digitally now, we want to keep those theaters open so
you can keep the experience alive,
Exactly. See, you could just be a commercial for the
we're
movie
the commercial. We'll just
the movie theater should start paying us.
Yeah, we should. I think the movie theater should just pay us regardless.
Definitely. Instead of these other places, I get these messages on some of our social media accounts trying to get promote us for. We get the weirdest things.
Can we get promoted first, guys?
Yeah, I'm like, how about the movie theater contact us and be like, we like
hit us
you.
Up. We will tell you the many glorious things that have happened at the movie theater.
Although with how we reviewed this movie, I don't think Marvel's gonna come ask us. No.
Oh, I mean, we were being honest, right?
We were being honest, but we didn't really promote it.
Well, promoting is
we told people to go see it.
Promoting's optional, you know.
Okay, well, those are our thoughts on Black Widow.
I don't got anything else to say.
Okay, those are our thoughts on Black Widow. Follow us on all of our social media. We've got Twitter, Instagram.
Yep, the link's in the description in the About section of our channel, or otherwise we are the Fellowship of the Films.
And we will talk to you next time about whatever next comes out.
Yeah, there's actually so we recorded a Star Wars episode, and that should be coming out reasonably soon. So.
And there's many more Marvel movies coming in the near future.
There's many more in the future. Like the right before the movie, they showed a little slideshow of all the movies coming up, and that was hype, honestly.
That was a really good advertisement for Marvel.
They did a good job on that. I mean, they had enough time to get a good advertisement, but they did a good job.
Exactly. But yeah, there's tons of Marvel movies coming out, so we will definitely have more content for you guys soon, and we will talk to you next time.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.